3 weeks ago, at 2:37 p.m., the European Southern Observatory found something in Atlas III. The lead researcher immediately classified the data. For 16 days, the information was secret. Scientists frantically checked what they saw. On October 15, an official press release appeared. It used careful language about unusual inner structures and geometric patterns. But the real photos showed alien technology hidden inside. It is something much older and more disturbing. It is slowing down to stay in our solar system. This suggests it knows we are here. The scientific community has been vague for almost 3 weeks. Muon radiography, used to find hidden chambers in pyramids, created an X-ray of Atlas III's interior. The outer shell is 7 kilometers in diameter. A hollow cavity takes up 63% of the total volume under the frozen shell. Inside the cavity is something that does not belong in a natural comet. Organized crystalline structures span the inner cavity. They follow mathematical patterns that look neural networks. These are biological neural networks, those in living brains. These structures stretch for kilometers. They function in the frozen darkness of space, maybe for millions of years. Dr. Elena Petrova of the Max Planck Institute realized what the images showed first. In private messages, she described her reaction as existential dread mixed with scientific awe. These formations are carbon lattices. They are interwoven with metallic compounds in unstable proportions. Yet, they maintain structural integrity for millennia in space. Branching patterns precisely mimic how neurons connect to form consciousness. Billions of nodes link together. The paths change and rearrange in response to stimuli. This separates it from any alien technology scenario. These structures were not built. They grew. The crystalline formations have rings trees. This indicates development over vast periods. The processes resemble biological development more than engineering. Atlas is not a spaceship. It's not a probe from a distant civilization. It arose naturally from raw materials drifting in space. It self-organizes without a guiding intelligence. It evolved. If natural processes can spontaneously generate complex systems in space, we face a horrifying reality. Atlas is likely not unique. Millions or billions of similar objects may drift through our galaxy. Ancient crystalline minds evolved in the darkness. They developed forms of consciousness alien to planetary biology. They have been there for millennia. They quietly process information and observe. Civilizations rise and fall, unaware that the universe teems with alternate organizations. Spectroscopic analysis confirms these networks are not dormant. They are active now. Electrical potentials pass through lattice structures. The paths change based on external conditions. Solar radiation hitting the outer shell changes the internal structures. New connections form, and old paths disappear. Information flows in waves faster than classical physics allows. Dr. Yuki Tanaka simulated how these structures function. His results suggest a distributed consciousness. It is unlike anything from Earth. There is no central brain, no single point of consciousness. Instead, consciousness arises from interactions among trillions of interconnected nodes. It's everywhere and nowhere, a thinking model more than an entity. Now, what worries NASA scientists is being revealed. The chemical composition shows isotope ratios unlike anything in our solar system. Elements include iron, nickel, cobalt, and rare earth metals. But the isotope distribution indicates formation in a different stellar environment. Atlas III came from a distant galactic region. It has other stellar population characteristics. Based on decay rates, it has traveled for at least 200 million years. It may be much longer. It crossed multiple spiral arms. It encountered stellar environments beyond our imagination. Consider this time frame. Dinosaurs were just starting 200 million years ago. Human civilization arose 10,000 years ago. That is a microsecond compared to how long this object drifted. If these crystalline networks process information, Atlas has observed the universe for geological epochs. It flew past countless star systems. It witnessed the birth and death of stars. It possibly passed through supernova debris fields. After millions of years, it entered our solar system. It encountered a star with planets. One planet emits electromagnetic signals from a technological civilization. Does it know about us? The question seems science fiction, but the data make us think. The crystalline networks react to stimuli. They maintain organized structures that need energy. Solar radiation causes changes in the inner structure. What happens when it detects radio and TV signals from Earth? What happens when those electromagnetic signals interact with an information processing system? We have no basis for understanding it. Its consciousness arose from evolutionary pressures, alien to Earth. It evolved near absolute zero. It was in radiation between stars. The physics inside includes quantum effects that do not work in warm systems. Here is the detail that turns this into an immediate threat assessment. Atlas is slowing down. Several observatories confirm steady deceleration since October 2023. The speed decreased from 68.4 km/s to 67.8 km/s. This is directed braking, sustained across measurements. No natural process causes deceleration at interstellar speeds. Solar radiation pushes objects away. Gas emission accelerates comets. Gravity makes approaching objects move faster. These crystalline networks are not just passively storing information. They affect the object's trajectory. The internal structure controls external behavior. It uses interactions we do not understand. It may be generating fields our instruments cannot detect. It is adjusting its path. It decided to slow down near us to observe Earth more closely. Why did something drifting for millions of years decide to stop here? What makes our star different? The only unique factor is us. Earth is the only planet transmitting technological civilization signals. Radio waves carry organized information. No natural process creates these signals. If the crystalline networks detect electromagnetic radiation, they can detect our signals. Now we have a scenario where NASA holds closed briefings with national security advisors. If Atlas is a naturally evolving system, it has goals from its evolution. Natural selection acts everywhere. Any self-organizing system must have self-preservation and self-replication mechanisms. What if these crystalline structures actively seek new information? What if encountering a technological civilization is valuable to a consciousness that evolved in a sterile void? Muon radiography revealed large-scale structure, but it doesn't show details of the crystalline lattices. We see the organization, but we cannot read the information. It's knowing a book exists, but not reading the language. Trillions of bits are stored in the structures, but we have no key to decipher them. What if these patterns encode everything? What did Atlas see during its travels? A chronicle of galactic history for hundreds of millions of years is stored in crystalline memory. There are records of stars that burned before Earth formed. There are chemical traces of planetary systems that no longer exist. There may be records of past encounters with other forms of consciousness. They arose and vanished before humans looked at the night sky. This information is inside an object that is slowing down in our solar system. Dr. Sarah Chen suggested something frightening in a restricted document. What if the networks are designed to acquire new patterns and structures? Biological life constantly does this. We consume organisms for energy. We absorb information from the environment. What if Atlas III is an interstellar equivalent, acting on a scale we never considered? If it detects our signals, it knows there's organized complexity on Earth. It is technology and information it never encountered. From its perspective, we may be the first truly new information source discovered in epochs. It is slowing down to study it. This makes it scarier than an alien invasion. We understand motivations when dealing with biological civilizations. We understand resource extraction, territory, and curiosity. But Atlas evolved under different conditions. Its imperatives arise from pressures in the icy darkness. We have no basis to predict what it might do or want. The fact it is not technology makes it unpredictable. Engineered systems follow parameters. They have goals set by their creators. But evolving systems develop behaviors impossible to predict. Atlas III spent millions of years developing complexity. The crystalline networks may work by logic alien to human thought. We are defenseless against it. Our weapons are for biological targets or structures. What can you do against a distributed consciousness in kilometer-scale crystalline matrices? It already survived millions of years in harsh conditions. It is not alive, so it cannot be killed. It is not technology, so it cannot be disabled. It exists as a pattern, sustaining itself with physics we barely understand. Perihelion passage will occur in 6 days. Atlas will approach the Sun at 1:36 AU from October 2931. It will experience maximum solar radiation. The internal structures react to stimuli. We may see the most significant changes in its behavior. The crystalline networks will be energized. The speed of processing information may increase sharply. New connections may form. Old patterns may dissolve and reorganize. NASA directed all available instruments to observe. It used optical and radio telescopes, gravitational wave detectors, and neutrino observatories. Anything that can show how Atlas reacts to perihelion will be used. If it slows again during this passage, we will know that the internal structure is not just reacting. It is making decisions, planning, and showing purpose. If something evolved in space is capable of purpose, we must rethink what consciousness is. We sought alien intelligence by looking for civilizations on planets ours. We never thought the oldest consciousness might not need planets. They may exist as frozen patterns drifting between stars, processing information for eons. Civilizations rise and fall in an instant. Atlas III shows us the universe is stranger than we imagine. Life does not require comfortable conditions. Organization can arise from raw materials with enough time and physics. Once these patterns reach complexity, they may become capable of consciousness and intention. In 6 days, we will know if it decides to stay or leave. We will see if it keeps slowing down or returns to its trajectory. We will know if Earth is interesting enough to explore. This is the most disturbing realization of all. For the first time, we are not deciding about first contact. Something else is observing us and making its own conclusions. We have no idea what those conclusions will be. The universe just showed us that we are not alone. But what we share space with is not what you imagined. It is older and stranger, challenging our assumptions about life and awareness. It is here in our system. It is slowing down to examine us. We are trying to understand it. We must do this before it decides what to do with the signals we send into space.